Tim.
Hi, how are you?
Okay. I'm great, Tim. Thank you. How are you?
I'm good.
Wonderful. Are you still in Los Angeles?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
Well, thank you for speaking with me, Tim.
Of
My name's Nicole Xavier, and I have my own publication for Explore the Art of Cinema.
Uh,
And I'm so thankful for you for taking some time out of your day, as well as Paramount Studios. I'm completely and utterly in love with your film. There
thank
is
you very much.
It is absolutely flawless filmmaking, and congratulations on your nomination for the Golden Globe and your future nominations that have yet to come. Although we unfortunately fell short at the Golden Globes. I was hoping for a win. But let's talk about September 5. Now, I loved everything about it, but what do you hope that audiences take away from September 5?
Well, I would say the answer to that in a way lies in the perspective from which we are telling the story from. It's from the perspective of the media. I was very much interested in how that day was a changing point in media history. And I think we are living in a time where the media landscape around us is so rapidly evolving. I mean, right now we are communicating live via satellite in a way, live
Hmm.
via Zoom. Back then it was you still had to book a slot on the satellite. Today everyone can go live and record and send out live with the phone, right? We are living in such a rapidly evolving media landscape that I think we don't even know yet what implications it has on how we perceive world events also. And we thought it would be interesting, especially for today's audience, to take a step back and see how a little bit more than 50 years ago, a tragedy like this was covered for the first time in live television. And it hopefully makes you reflect through that historical lens on how we, on how we consume media and news today.
Wow. Well, considering not only were you the director on this project, but you wrote it and you produced it, all that good stuff. But when writing the script, how did you approach recounting the events? Like, did you focus on the overall narrative or dive into crafting the dialogue first or the characters' interactions?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, first, the most important inspiration to make this movie was a conversation that we had with the real Jeffrey Mason, who, as a young producer working for ABC Sports, that's a character played by John Magaro, experienced that 22-hour marathon of broadcasting and how they, as a group of sports broadcasters, made that switch to a crisis reporting. He witnessed that live in the control room. That was the basis of our film. And he also said he remembers that day like no other day of his career. And then we did a lot of further research. We talked to two more eyewitnesses. They're Rune Alic and Jim McKay, the host and the head of ABC Sports, in our film played by Peter Sarsgaard, were both dedicated a whole chapter of their biographies on their experience of that day. And then, of course, another important source was the whole original footage that ABC Sports had sent. So knowing all this very well, we structured our first draft on based on this. And quite
Oh.
early decided we don't want any private stories in that film. This is a film about people in their working environment, and the whole professional apparatus should have been portrayed as accurately as possible, but no backstories or so. So
Okay.
that was the basic idea of the film.
Wow. Well, it was beautifully from start to finish. And I'll admit, I'm quite jealous that I had no affiliation with this film whatsoever. I mean, I loved it. So I need to know as an
Yeah.
actor myself, the movement between the actors and the camera is quite captivating in the film. So how did you approach staging and blocking the scenes to create such a fluid connection?
Yeah, I love to talk about this. Look, the idea how we shot it is like, okay, you wouldn't find a single mark for focus in our set for the cameras. And often, you're an actor, you said, that often you have to hit your mark or so to be in focus or whatever. We didn't have that at all. I wanted the opposite. I wanted to give a complete freedom for the cast and crew to move as ever they want in that room. And the idea that we had is that since this movie is a lot about them reacting to what's coming in through a telephones, through a walkie-talkie, through these monitors, and they just this all should happen in real, which was not easy, right? So these images were always there. They never looked today, you know, you've experienced it maybe. If you shoot a monitor wall scene, you usually look at a green screen and have to imagine what you see. We didn't want that. We wanted to have all real images on these monitors. And the idea was then that we just covered it with our cameras. And we didn't necessarily say we do that setup, that shot, that close up. That all should happen organically. And we also took in account or even embraced that we had certain technical imperfection there, that sometimes it was out of focus, or the camera was a little bit late with panning or so, because we wanted it to feel as almost as if you would watch a live event yourself or a documentary when seeing it.
Wow. Wow. That's really stunning. So moving forward, the raw emotions that you captured on screen, I mean, you were able to pull that in, you were able to pull that out. I know you talk about it kind of, all organically happened, but you being the director, did you have any prep time with your actors and like what does that look like?
Yeah,
With, I mean, you have such legends on your, I mean, Peter Sarsgaard, I mean, he's such a veteran actor. I mean,
yeah.
what went into that character?
Yeah, that's yeah. Peter Sarsgaard, of course, that's been a very interesting character. Through him, about him, also we found the most official, like a lot of has been written about knowledge. Um, Generally, getting back to your question about prep, yes, we did prepare in a lot of ways. We had a lot, but more in a sense, we didn't rehearse too much or so, but we rehearsed their professional functions. So, for example, Tom Magaro and I, we went to a lot of control rooms of real sports broadcasts today to just observe this crew, these people, these directors, how they behave, their body language, how they speak. And he soaked up all of this for his performance. Ben Chaplin has to learn how to thread in film, for example. Leonie had a typewriter that she constantly carried around also, and privately also constantly was typing on it, so that if she types on the typewriter, even if it's a close-up, you can just feel if that person does it for the first time or not. And so a lot of preparation went into this. Then we had table readings where you go through the dialogue to avoid that unclarities are not only coming up on set. But we didn't go too much into the scenes, because for me, always the very first take was magic, when everything would happen in reality, and we just covered it, right? And so I didn't want that to lose that momentum by rehearsing the scene before first shooting it.
Wow, you're an actor's dream director. So
No.
you really are. That's so great. So how has the process of making September 5 influenced your future plans of being a director?
Well, it's a good question. I think I learned, first of all, I enjoyed the process of working something that's based on a real story. I enjoyed the whole research process. And then I must say, what I also is one of the biggest lessons that I learned is how important perspective is. That if you
Right.
that like we were telling everything from the perspective of the newsroom, and so we could go really deep into research in that field, and I enjoy that very much, and we try to portray that then as accurately as possible. So yeah, I hope to continue that path in a way.
Well, I mean it seems to be coming to fruition. And with that being said, according to my industry sources, September 5 was sneak it was a sneak nomination for the Golden Globe. That's what some call it. But unless people do see it, I do believe that people will understand why it deserved to be in that Best Picture category. Now, according to my industry sources, there have been talks that September 5 will also close in on the Oscars, that there will be a potential nomination. Now, what would that mean for Tim Fehlbaum? What would that mean for you?
Look, for me, it's already the journey so far is already incredible. We started it as a little movie. I would have never thought that one day it would be nominated for a Golden Globe. That was completely overwhelming. We are blessed to have the support of Paramount Pictures to help us to, because of course they help us with for the film to be seen. They picked it up,
Right.
and this is already so wonderful. Everything that comes on top, that is nice. But I also want the movie to be seen by the audience. And of course, that nomination, that there would be another completely overwhelming honor. But I'm also very happy on where we are already with the movie.
Great. So let's just wrap this up with one last question, Tim. I know we're short for time. What what's next for you?
Yeah, I don't know yet. So but I have my crew, my film family, let's say. I'm talking to the writer of September 5 also about new ideas, and we'll see. But I'm also quite busy with the release of that movie now, and I also it's very close to my heart, that film, and I want to be 100% there to help it that it gets seen, because as you said, it has to be seen.
It
That's why also
does.
we are so thankful for you and people like you that for helping us to promote and share their passion for the film.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to, speak to me. And Paramount Studios, there's always gracious to me. So I really do appreciate everybody involved and even Peter Sarsgaard. I mean, I don't think any of this would have happened if it wasn't for him. I met him at Newport. So this was
Ah,
amazing. So I
okay,
appreciate,
great. Yeah, no, I
yes.
appreciate it. Thank you, Nicole. Thank you
Uh,
very much.
Thank you, Tim. You have a good day. Tim.